Welcome to the Orange Hammer Podcast. My name is Corbett Storick. I've been a licensed general contractor for 8+ years, specializing in new construction, renovation, furniture building. I'm the son of an architect and an interior designer, and I've been surrounded in this industry since birth, watching all aspects from concept, design, build, punch list, and of course, all the problems that come up in between. In my time in Durham, North Carolina, I've noticed a significant gap in knowledge between homeowners who need work and the people who do the work. On this podcast, I hope to break down the process of homeownership from the perspective of both the homeowner and the contractor in an effort to help raise the knowledge of homeowners about their homes and the construction/renovation process. I hope you enjoy. If you're enjoying the Orange Hammer Podcast, or if you have a topic that you want covered, or have recently done a project, please contact the Orange Hammer Podcast. The Orange Hammer Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Please like and subscribe, share on whatever platform you're enjoying your podcast on. Also, check out our YouTube channel, The Orange Hammer. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by CRS Contracting LLC for all your construction and handyman needs, new buildings to renovations, furniture building, EV charger install, or even a TV mounted. You can call me, Corbett Storick. It'd be my pleasure to help you. You can find me on Instagram at CRS Contracting. WSDG, the Walter Storick Design Group, specialists in architectural and acoustical consulting. Check out WSDG.com. And Taylor Bragg, for all your artistic needs in all mediums. You can find her on Instagram at brag_about_art. That's brag, BRGG, with 2 G's. She's the fantastic artist behind the Orange Hammer logo, and she did my fantastic table painting of my podcasting table. My guest today is Katherine Bitner. She is the wife of my one-time personal trainer, Brian, a self-published author. You could find her book called Time to Bloom, available on Amazon. Katherine, thanks for coming on. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. You have a unique perspective that I really am excited to talk about, of kind of putting your whole life up on hold, selling your house, buying an RV, kind of renovating a little bit, and touring the country.
Yeah, I did all that.
I feel like everybody who knows what the word social media means have seen people do this on a reel on Instagram and have just dreamed, oh my God, that looks amazing, and want to go to every national park and coast to coast and all that. So so we have a lot to break down, right. But to back up just a little bit, what was it like buying that house, the first house you had, before we get into the RVing?
Yeah, it was a rush process because we bought it in Raleigh. So there's not much time to think on your purchases here, as you know.
Yeah. What time frame, like how many years ago were you buying this house?
This was 2018.
Okay.
So spring of 18. We started looking and bought a house within a week of looking.
1 week and you've got
we got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you buy one as is, or do you still got to do inspections and there's a 30-day, time frame and all that?
There was the normal process and due diligence. But the house was as is. There was no changes, no contingencies. And it was old. It was an old house.
Did you do a lot of work to it?
Yeah, we completely flipped it, head to bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So do you do a lot of that work yourself, or do you hire a lot of that work out?
I hired out the things that I wasn't willing to learn myself.
Okay, so let's jump into that list.
Okay. So flooring.
Okay.
Doing flooring.
What flooring did you have, and what did you end up with?
We had like 1970s original shag carpet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's tough.
More of a health hazard than
Do you rip that out yourself, or you call somebody from square one?
We had someone come and replace it with wood.
Okay.
Flooring.
Hardwood, like nailed down, or floating floor?
Floating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then anything that was structural, I wasn't comfortable doing. So anything from like doors and windows. We had our ceilings repaired, that kind of.
And that's like doors and windows that just were like old and rotted and need to be replaced, or you opened and made like bigger openings?
No, just like replacement.
Just replacement.
Yeah.
And ceiling replaced like from leakage?
Yes.
Okay, so drywall.
Yeah, drywall.
Okay.
Drywall. But then everything else cosmetic, I did myself.
Okay, so let's jump into that list.
Okay.
So cosmetic, like paint?
Yeah, painting. We were able to replace like our own interior doors.
Okay. So the slabs?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you find, you like hunt for slabs that are the same size and you swapped those out yourself?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you hunt for those, like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist?
I go to a place in Raleigh where builders give all their excess stuff from like new construction.
Right.
So they were all brand new doors.
Where
new
is this? Where is this place?
It's called Restore.
Oh,
It's
the Restore.
only the Raleigh one does
Gotcha.
this.
Okay.
And so they're luxury home builders who will just donate their doors and light fixtures, doorknobs, all of that. So everything in the house was very old and original down to like the light plates. And so I swapped those all myself. And then painting, and then my husband is pretty good with electrical stuff, and so he swapped all of our light fixtures.
Nice. And like fans?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you really did do like, except for gutting it to the studs, I mean, you did switch everything.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, it was unrecognizable.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So what was the process like of selling that home? How long did you live in the home?
We lived in it for almost 2 years.
Okay. And what was that process like of selling it?
So selling it, we used the same realtor who bought it. And it was on the market for less than 24 hours.
And first of all, that's incredible. How did you find that realtor?
I actually found him through Instagram.
Through Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was really young. And fat, like just fast. He was just super fast at selling homes.
I could have sworn you just said really young and fat, and I was like, "Wow, okay,
no,
that's
no.
We do not body shame at the Orange Hammer Podcast.
No,
I don't care if we're married to trainers."
Really young, fast, just a nice guy, and definitely no shame there. I've done a lot of work for him, and yeah. So
you had done a lot of work for him.
Like recently, I've done work. We're still friends.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he listed our house and knew it would sell really well just because it was very trendy. Everything I did inside was trendy.
So just out of curiosity and absolutely no shame on any level, but Instagram to me doesn't really show qualities that I would look for in a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Like on Instagram, if I'm a realtor, I can show this really nice house that I am selling, but not necessarily, a quality of like trustworthiness or whatever, so how do you correlate, what was it about his Instagram postings, for a listener who might be looking for a realtor and doesn't even know that you could follow a realtor on Instagram?
Right.
What stood out?
I guess I should backpedal. So I was looking at like a Raleigh real estate Instagram where they just post different realtors in the area, like spotlight them.
Gotcha.
And he had popped up and he had a ton of customer testimonials.
Okay.
And so,
so you dove in more than just the visual. When you think of Instagram, you did do more of a dive.
Yeah, it was definitely not visual. It was seeing people tell their experience, and it just sounded like someone who was great with, because we were first-time home buyers. At least I was. My husband wasn't. And so I wanted someone who was kind of going to hold our hand through the process.
Gotcha. Okay, so you had that benefit of your husband not being a first-time home buyer as well. Yeah. So you had like at least not just both of you being complete newbies. So you weren't weren't at the max stress level of some other like potential first-time home buyers.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay, so fast forwarding back to what you just said, 24 hours later, you have an offer. It's gone.
It was insane. We had an open house, and the cars lined out of our street, out of the neighborhood onto the highway.
Wow.
And
okay. Did you get, I'm assuming then, an offer well above asking?
Yeah, way, way above asking. We had 60 offers.
60? 60?
Yes.
Whoa.
And they had a spreadsheet, and we didn't pick the top bidder. 'Cause
Okay, so talk more about why you might not just go for the most amount of money.
So we had a cash offer that was the most, but they were an investor from out of state,
Okay,
California,
gotcha,
and I really wanted it to go to someone local.
gotcha.
And
Okay,
yeah, so we chose someone who was a local business owner.
because you knew that investor is either tearing it or turning it into a rental property.
Right.
There's no local sentiment at all.
No.
That's just a dollar sign.
Yeah. And after all the work I put into it, I wanted it to go to someone who, they would
Gotcha.
appreciate it.
And that, I don't know what the difference that you may have left on the table, but you getting 10 grand less was well worth it to you guys.
Yeah.
In your personal moral compass. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Gotcha. Hey, it's perfectly fine. People have done more. The people have taken more of a hit for less of a thing. I think that's kind of noble, actually, especially in this area. I mean, there is not that all the locals are being 100% forced away, but there is quite a bit of outside state investment, outside country investment, for that matter, coming into the Triangle. I mean, it's explosive.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't want to play into it.
Yeah. So I guess selling that house, and it sounds like for well above asking, not that hard.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know if that'll ever happen again in my lifetime. That was easy.
I don't know. The actual amounts are personally relevant, but how much above asking did it sell for, if you remember?
It was either 40 or 50,000.
Okay, 50K and 24 hours. I mean, you can't write that. I mean, that's not possible. I mean, it's possible because it happened, but that's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we really didn't do upgrades that would have
that were worthy of that.
Yeah. It was just, it looked clean and new.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Whew. I mean, I'm sure it was, very, very clean and new. You guys are clean people and everything, but that is just a testament to the insanity of the market around here, especially. I mean, this was what, 2 years ago-ish?
2021. No. Yeah. 2021, April of 2021.
Okay.
So not even a year ago.
Wow.
A year ago.
Yeah, just over a year ago. Yeah. Wow. Okay. But I mean, the market has, if you did that today, I don't know if you'd get the 50K over, but you'd probably still sell it in 24 hours.
Probably.
Yeah, it might be 10K over.
Yeah.
But it's gone.
Yeah.
In 24 hours.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna also have an investor from out of state who wants it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing how this area. Everybody's like, it'll cool. The bubble will pop. It's coming. Yeah. It just seems to keep climbing.
No, I don't think it'll happen. It's too great of an area.
Yeah, it is a pretty fantastic. So are you from the area originally?
No, me and my husband are from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And when did you come to the area, and what brings you here?
We moved here in 2017, late 2017. And we were just over the crappy weather up north.
Right.
And Pittsburgh is a very old city.
Right.
There's not a lot of there's not new fresh ideas. There's not a lot to do.
Old school and old school mentality.
Very old school, very stuck in the past.
Right.
And so with my husband being in tech, this was like a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the tech scene is big and is growing rapidly here.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So, jumping into the meat and potatoes, as we might say, this RV venture. So I guess my first question right off the bat, when you are selling this house, is it no-brainer? You have the idea, we are buying an RV with this money, or is it we're going to buy another house and then plans change?
No, the RV was the first decision, and then selling the house was second.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
It was the last step.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so the ability for, you mentioned just now your husband's in tech, so we could just assume that he can do a little work from anywhere with internet and a laptop, so that allows the RV to be more of a question. Definitely. What's your employment at the time? If you don't want to be specific about it on air, is it something you can do on a laptop with Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I was in marketing.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, if you've got internet or a hotspot or basically a computer from anywhere, you're good to go.
Yes.
Gotcha. As long as you're not driving.
Yeah. Yeah,
gotcha.
for sure.
This is a dumb question, but you did not have a driver. It was just the two of you?
Yeah, it was just
Right,
us.
okay,
He did all the
gotcha.
driving.
You did all, okay, you did all the driving. Okay. You didn't help out at all.
No, we would have wrecked.
We would have
instantly.
Okay,
I did drive it once on a straightaway in a parking lot, and that was it. That was all I needed.
okay, so you can drive it.
I can drive a vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a vehicle. I meant the RV.
I could drive it if I needed.
Okay, gotcha. I've just busted your chain. Okay, so how big is this RV? Do you remember like the name and model number and any of that?
Yeah, it's a Forest River Sunseeker, and it was their biggest model. We got like the top model, top luxury, everything. Which was not the smartest decision, but it was 34 feet.
Okay, so 34 feet is very big. I've not driven it myself because it's a tow behind, but I've towed a like 32-foot Airstream, and that thing is insane. Was this one that you pull or one that you drive?
No, it was a drive. It was a Class C.
Okay.
So it's like a Ford truck in front and then almost like a box in the back.
Okay. So it's like a giant U-Haul almost.
Yeah. Pretty
okay.
much.
So 34 feet?
34 feet.
Okay. And you buy this or rent it?
We bought it. We straight up bought it.
And so what's that cost? If you remember.
I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it was 95,000.
95. We're gonna turn to the the checker. On the MSRP. Okay. MSRP 95.
Okay, 89.
Okay, 89. Okay. So I'm going to assume, based on the amazing real estate market, that you still made some money from your house sale, even buying an RV.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what was you immediately prefaced getting the luxury and longest vehicle with that was a mistake. So let's just jump right into what were the mistakes?
Since neither of us have owned an RV, we wanted something that was like brand new, wouldn't break, easy for first time RV owners.
Gotcha.
But we should have bought an older one that was cheaper because this was like brand new everything. I mean, it had technology we never even used in a year.
Okay, like what?
Like where you set your phone down on the counter and it automatically charges it, which you don't need in a camper. And
no, I guess you could still just use a plug like everyone else.
It had 2 TVs, which I ended
up... Not one, but
no.
2.
And I ripped one out because we don't even really watch that much TV, so that was pointless. It just had a lot of bells and whistles that were like automatic leveling, even though my husband is super OCD, so he leveled it himself every single time.
She didn't even use the auto level.
Not
he
really.
Still just did it himself. Right?
No.
Level, like you put a jack on each corner and literally level it out.
It had hydraulics that came down.
Oh, okay. No, I know, and that's what the auto were. But I mean, it's not like you really need that. I'm just thinking like, how hard would it be to level it yourself?
It wouldn't be hard.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So looking back, if you were to go in a time machine and talk to yourself, you'd be like, go buy a used one.
Yeah, I would.
That has no bells and whistles. No. Right, because you don't need it. It's you used it for luxury tent. This was you weren't RVing. You just had an RV.
I mean, we were out in the middle of nowhere in it, but then you'd go inside and you'd have like a rain shower.
It had a rain shower.
It had a pretty nice shower set up with a new head and all that. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned you ripped out the TV. What did you do? Any other modifications other than ripping out the television?
So it was the bunkhouse model, which means that it had a slide that had like a bunk bed and a sofa in it.
So the slide is like the giant bump outs on the side that literally extend once it's parked. Okay. Yeah, because I don't know anything about RVing, and listeners are probably like, "What an idiot! How does he not know what that is?" But like, my only RV-ish thing is a tow behind Airstream that has an awning that rolls out, and that's it. There's no like bump out anything.
So it's like you push a button, which is very fancy. You just hold down this light switch and the wall moves out about 3 feet.
Ooh, very Star Trek. I like it.
So we ripped out. It's pretty much how it felt like. It was really nuts.
So I'm guessing my first thing is like, but why? I know you and Brian. You're very small people. You don't have kids. 34 feet of length. What do you need all this bump out? It's a lot of space. No,
we wanted our dog to have space.
Okay.
We wanted him to have his own little like area.
Okay.
So the the slide out had like, it was a bunk bed, and so the top part I made into my office with a floating desk.
Ah, okay.
And then underneath was our dog Wilbur. It was like his little room.
Oh, okay.
All his stuff.
So the combination of the fact that you are right. Okay. So this is not your weekend RV toy.
No,
you need to work. So you need the desk, right? That
Right.
does actually make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the dog. So dog, you need dog space, desk space. Also can't hurt to have a little bit more room and
Right.
not like step on each other's toes.
Yeah. I mean, everything we owned was in this RV, so we needed all the extra storage we could get.
Right. On that note, when you sell a house, do you get a storage unit? Do you sell a bunch of stuff?
We got rid of everything we owned down to, we sold both our cars and bought a small car.
That you towed behind?
Yeah, that we towed behind.
Oh, okay. So what kind of cars are you selling, and then what kind of car did you buy?
So we had an SUV, we had a BMW and a Jetta.
Okay.
That we sold, and then we bought a Prius.
Oh, okay. That's smart to tow the little Prius.
So we towed the little Prius, which was a beast.
So you detach that when you want to go on a grocery run and you don't want to drive this beast around.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why when I've contemplated doing something like this, I'm like, well, I would not want to drive around a 40-foot thing or a 34-foot thing. So I'm like, get something slightly smaller and pull it with my pickup truck and detach it. But, so you went with instead of buying a truck and a trailer, you bought an all-in-one and towed a Prius.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. And when you finish the trip, do you keep the Prius or sell the Prius?
Yeah, we still have the Prius.
Still have the Prius. Gotcha.
It was a great vehicle for RVing.
Yeah. It does seem like a perfect combo.
Yeah.
They tow behind with no problem.
Yeah, no problem. And there's like no maintenance on it.
Yeah. Because I ask that specifically because as a Tesla driver, you can't tow a Tesla like that where the back wheels are rolling. You will like blow out the battery from overcharging. You have to like call a tow truck driver and get it on a flatbed specifically. So you wouldn't be able to tow a Tesla behind in that particular setup. So that's why I was just that's a curious thing that like for me specifically, I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. At least right now there's no like software update from Tesla to be able to do that.
Yeah,
but
we had a tow dolly.
Prius, no problem. And so you just get that dolly, you rent that from U-Haul or you buy
we bought
that?
It.
Gotcha.
So
where do you buy this RV? You buy it brand new, so somewhere reputable, like...
Yeah, there's like one of the oldest RV dealers in Raleigh. We just went...
Is that Camping World?
No, it's called Bill Plemons.
What is it?
Bill Plemons.
Bill Plemons. Okay, shout out Bill Plemons.
Yeah.
Did they do right by you? Should we take the shout out
did.
by? I can edit it out.
They did.
Okay, Bill Plemons, shout out if you need an RV and you're in Raleigh, Durham.
Yeah.
Because I've only had bad experience at Camping World, so I'll bash them on this podcast all day long.
Yeah, I can't say anything about. I have no experience there.
Yeah. Okay. No experience. Well, I will say don't bother because I did actually technically get the AC replaced on my Airstream, but it was like pulling teeth and worse than that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So back to modifications that you make to the RV. So you've got a little handy skill. You basically flipped a house already. So you modify the bunk situation from 2 bunks to floating desk and dog zone.
Correct.
Anything else?
Yeah, so we removed the toilet in the RV and put in a compost toilet.
Okay, so the toilet originally operated like a regular one, but went to a septic tank built in, and you put in a composting toilet. So what's the thinking behind the switch?
We wanted to be able to camp off grid. So when you use a regular toilet in an RV, you have to have a water hookup.
Right.
Or, it's not going to flush and it's going to be disgusting.
There's no water tank that you can fill up?
There is, but you need it for cooking and showering and everything else. And it doesn't hold that much. Like it was 40 gallons, which sounds like a lot, but I mean, an average shower is 30 gallons.
Right.
So it wasn't enough.
So that's like 1 shower and 3 flushes and you're done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the compost toilet, you needed no water. And it was also just better for the environment. I mean, it was just compost. You could just dump it anywhere.
Really? You can actually just straight up dump that anywhere?
I mean...
Do you need to buy chemicals or...
No. So we used like the compost was like wood chips, like that you would, or not wood chips, but like pine chips that you would use in like an animal cage, like a rabbit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put that in there as like the matter, and then
Yeah.
you know the human stuff goes in and mixes, and then you can just pour that.
You can just put it in the trash can because there's no smell.
Oh,
So
really?
you
Just like your
throw it
regular
out.
trash can
Yeah.
and in the regular dump. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't need a special area to dump as if you were using the tank, and you
No.
don't need a water hookup. So you
No.
get two inconveniences removed.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
So that allowed us to camp off grid for long periods of time.
Right. Because now that 40 gallons, if you're not wasting it on a shower and you're just making tea and boil or whatever, you can really last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And did you do a significant amount of off-grid camping?
Not a ton.
Okay. But you
No.
were prepared for it.
Yeah,
at
we were
least.
prepared.
Okay. Did it have solar?
We did, yeah. So we had solar, which already came in the luxury.
So you didn't do that was included.
No.
Okay.
So some of the other upgrades, it was cosmetic. So we removed like a lot of like the things in the RV. We took out the dining table.
Okay.
So there's like the bench style dinette
Mm-hmm.
in RVs. We removed that so that you could just like take the table off the ground because it's just like a pole that goes into the RV ground, like screws in.
Right.
You can just lift the table up and like store it in the front of the RV, and then you have all that floor space.
Okay.
So we ripped the whole dining area out. We put in backsplash over the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And then we painted. Well, I painted the walls in there. I think that might be everything. Okay, we put in new batteries.
Okay. Brian on the off of the microphone is reminding us that that new batteries were put in.
Yeah.
So you upgraded the solar array. The solar array came with batteries, and you upgraded it.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
the batteries that run the RV, like the refrigerator and everything.
Okay. So again, prepping for the camp life you never really used.
Correct. We did use the batteries a lot.
Okay.
Just for like overnights in like Walmart parking lots.
Right, because with the composting toilet, you don't need to be at an RV hookup every
Correct.
night. So with a little battery hookup, you don't need the juice. So you get
Yeah.
to save that, like, what is it, $15 at an RV park to hook up or something like that? $20? Or I've never done it, but
like
it's
40.
40. Oh, I thought it was much cheaper. Okay.
No.
It's $40 at the RV park, whereas at Walmart, it's free.
Yeah.
And there's
Essentially.
some food at Walmart
Yeah.
at the grocery store.
Some
Right.
crime and food.
Crime and food. Crime and food. That's my next podcast I'm going to start. It's called Crime and Food. And my first and only guest is going to be the CEO of Walmart. He's just going to come on repeat. We're going to do a podcast every other week.
It.
Tune in. Okay. Okay. So it might not be construction related, but it's freaking interesting to me. How long were you in an RV, and like what were some top places?
Yeah, so we were in it for 12 months.
A full calendar year.
Full calendar year. And our top places were Utah and Arizona, I guess.
Utah and Arizona.
Yeah.
What time of year were you in Utah and Arizona?
So we were in Utah like the whole month of September.
Okay, so not terribly hot.
No. And then we were in Arizona October and January.
Okay, great times for Arizona.
Yeah.
Again, not terribly hot.
No, it
Yeah.
was perfect.
Okay. And like some shout out spots that listeners definitely should go to in Utah and
Yeah.
Arizona.
I am already going to regret saying going to Capitol Reef. 'Cause
Why?
It's like the most unknown national park in Utah.
Oh, okay.
It's very not visited, and it's very cool. It's definitely the top national park we've ever been to.
Okay, gotcha.
And in Arizona, there's a lake called Lake Pleasant, which isn't known too much, but they are like the only place in Arizona that has wild donkeys.
Wild donkeys.
Wild.
Okay.
And so if you want to see some wild donkeys running around, it's a great place.
I see you chuckling, but at the same time, I feel like that is kind of rare. I don't know of a lot of places with a wild donkey, because that's like the pack mule 101 when you think.
Right.
So it's not wild a lot.
No,
Yeah.
there was a mining town there, and then they left, and they just left the burros.
Gotcha.
They just left them there. They were domesticated, but they became wild over the 100 years.
Gotcha.
So
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my phone ringing there. So After the year of RVing, you are now back in the Raleigh-Durham area, and you are still in the RV, or have you like rented a spot?
Yeah, so we don't have the RV is on consignment at a dealership right now.
Okay, gotcha.
We're getting rid of that, and we are renting while we kind of figure out what area of the triangle we want to buy in.
Gotcha. For those who don't know what consignment means, the dealer's going to sell it and get their chunk and give them what they need out of it. So they're going to go through the process of having to like show it and deal with customers that want to view it, whereas like they don't have the time to do that because they have lives, and that's what dealers do. So renting, not so much to look for the perfect house, but really to search for the perfect area.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
think we're ready to buy just yet, and we found a rental that we actually love living in.
Okay. Is the rental an apartment or a house?
It's a townhouse.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
So what are the factors that you might be like waiting for when you say like, quote, we're not ready to buy a house yet? Because you did own one before,
Yeah.
and obviously between the two of you have a decent amount of skills that not everybody has to like do some stuff for a home. So what are like the we're waiting for factors? What's that on that checklist?
Well, I guess we moved like every 2 weeks in the RV. And so it was just a really fast lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just want to like chill for a little bit, kind of like regain our footing.
Right.
And I don't know if that even answers your question, but
I think it's a fair answer.
we also signed our lease for like a year. And so instead of breaking the lease, we're kind of waiting until the lease is almost up to start really hunting for a house.
And you weren't prepared to, I'm just, looking hindsight out of curiosity, you weren't prepared to come back and live the RV life while you house hunted.
We thought about it, but living in an RV in North Carolina is pretty miserable just because of the humidity.
Facts.
So, yeah.
Yes. True.
Yeah, out west it was like a breeze. You could open the windows and just
Gotcha.
it'd be perfect. But here it would be hell.
Gotcha. And circling back, I guess, to another RV question, were you primarily out west?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say like 3/4 of the time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So mass majority.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So still just kind of, okay. So feeling out location, anything else on the checklist of like what we're waiting for other than obviously don't want to break a lease because that's just going to cost you money.
Yeah.
And looking for location. Are you actively searching? Like, do you have a realtor and you're like looking for
We
homes?
don't have a realtor yet, but I am
Okay.
always actively searching.
Like Zillow and stuff like that? Okay.
Yeah. We have a very specific property in mind, and so we know it's kind of going to be a little bit of a long game. So
What do you mean by a very specific property in mind?
we definitely want land.
Okay.
A little bit of land with a house.
How many acres are we talking about?
Just one,
Okay.
but that's like a needle in a haystack around here.
Yes.
But we're also very open to like an old house, and I know the minute we get a house, I'm gonna go like balls to the wall renovating, and I'm trying to focus more on my like career right now, so I'm just trying to slow my roll a little bit before we get
Please buy her book on Amazon. What's the name again?
Time to Bloom.
Time to Bloom. Amazon, Time to Bloom. Okay, very cool. So I guess my last question would be, when you're ready to pull that trigger, will you be using the same realtor? Did he do a good enough job to stay? Did he do a good job selling your home?
He did. He was great, and he's definitely a friend, but he has moved on to doing mostly commercial real estate.
Okay. So nothing, no bad blood, just
No.
change in circumstance.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll go to him for a recommendation?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because I mean, obviously, the realtor circle, he works for somebody who's got a residential side.
Yeah. No, and I feel like there's no shortage of really great realtors around here. So.
Oh no, absolutely not. I had Stacy Sloan of Weston Woodall. We love you, Stacy. So if you need, once again, she'll help you out.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Well, I hope to have you back on to talk about the process after you've bought the house.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get your husband Brian on here and we can talk about his previous homes, but this was fun. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. All right. Bye, everybody.